Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. This is Taliesin McKnight. Today, I want to talk about nymphs, nature spirits or divinities found in Greek mythology. It's actually pretty interesting. We have naiads, which are nymphs, female nature spirits or divinities associated with fountains, wells, brooks, streams, fresh bodies of water. Also, waters coming from underneath the ground, and this nourishes the plants and the soil. And we have the Aurae, which are associated with breezes, and especially with the north wind. We have the Pleiades. We all know about the Pleiades, right? The 7 stars. The Pleiades were 7 sister nymphs that are companions of Artemis, the goddess, the lunar goddess, and of the hunt, the Pleiades. People often talk about the Pleiades, but they don't talk about the nymphs that comes from in Greek mythology. And they became associated with rain. They are dryads associated with trees. Hamadryads are tied to a specific tree, and hamadryads are believed that when the tree dies, in this case, the dryad dies, the hamadryad. So for this reason, harming trees or cutting down trees without propitiating the tree nymphs could be punished by the gods or by the dryads. There are different types of dryads. There's hamadryads, which are tied even their life force to a specific tree. And they are Daphnae, nymphs of laurel trees. By the way, I apologize if my pronunciation is off. I'm not Greek. Hesperides govern the evenings and sunsets and are associated with the west. Think of Hesperos, the evening. Oreads are mountain nymphs. Epimelides are nymphs of apples and other fruit-bearing trees. They help the fruit to grow. So think how important this is for agriculture and nature. And they're also protectors of sheep. So if for a shepherd, these spirits would be very important. So, and the Hyades are specifically associated with rain. So it's very interesting. You know, people have different opinions on the origin of all of this. This idea of nature divinities, nature spirits that are associated with the mountains, with the trees, with rivers, with streams and brooks, with the wind and rain and bearing fruit on the trees and all of this. This may be a very, very, very ancient form of religion. In fact, they're mentioned in Homer's Iliad and in the Odyssey. They're mentioned in the Theogony. And in these stories, a lot of these nymphs come from the Titans. They are children of Gaia, the earth. Remember, Gaia and Ouranos, before Kronos and Rhea, before Zeus took the throne, so they may be considered pre-Olympian. The Atlantides are said to be children of Atlas. So it's interesting that a lot of these nymphs are said to be from the pre-Olympian age. They're from the Titans. They may indeed be the nature spirits. If you need rain, or you need the fruit to grow, or you need protection of your livestock, things like that. These are beings associated with nature. And it's interesting that You know, when we attune with nature, with the seasons, if we use the elements and nature in our magic, if we're working with stones and plants and metals that come from under the earth, we're always calling upon natural forces, even if it's to call upon the celestial or super celestial domain. Nymphs are female spirits. They're female, and nymphs are often associated with sex, with romantic love. Everything from Narcissus and Echo. Echo fell in love with Narcissus. All throughout the mythology, there's a lot of sexuality and things like that, sensuality. Zeus is often cheating on Hera with the nymph. And then we have what about the masculine form of nature spirits or divinities? Well, we have the Satyrs, which are often said to have the ears and tail of a horse and the body of a man with, I'm sorry, pardon my French, but erect phalli. And then we have the Panes, which is what we typically think of in the West and in the movies. The Panes, like Pan, are like satyrs, but they have usually the legs and the horns or the ears of a goat. And the satyrs and the Panes are often associated with sex. Again, they're often shown with these exaggerated erect phalli. I hate saying that on my videos. And they're associated with wine, music, pleasure. So again, there's a lot of sexual imagery, a lot of earthly pleasures and delights. You know, music and dancing and sex and wine. You know, doesn't sound boring. But, you know, they govern these spirits are important. And why is it important? You know, it's important for many reasons. First of all, we're often familiar with Zeus and, you know, the different deities from Greek mythology, but you really don't hear a lot of people talk about the nymphs and the satyrs. These are divinities or nature spirits associated very much with the land, with trees, with mountains, with nature. So this is very ancient. Why would people work with these nymphs and satyrs? Why would they work with these beings with their shrines? First of all, their shrines were not usually found in the cities, in the temples, with Zeus and the Olympians. Their shrines would often be found at caves, besides brooks and streams. People would work with them very carefully for many reasons. For healing, let's say it's a healing well or fountain or stream. For healing, divination, poetic inspiration, hidden knowledge, things like that. Many gifts we can get from these powerful beings. And yet, across the board in many cultures around the world, including the nymphs in Greece, you have to be very careful. There are many stories of mortals stumbling across a group of naiads or nymphs, water nymphs, bathing in a pool and playing music and dancing, and then they go mad, or they fall in love, or whatever the case may be. Often it's not good, you know. Mortals should not dwell, you know, in certain things, that type of thing. But, you know, it's very interesting to understand the nymphs and the satyrs, the nature beings from Greek mythology. It's very useful. And we understand that veneration for nature beings is found in cultures around the world. And let's say you're a practitioner of magic. These are the wardens, the spirits that govern the woods by you. They can tell you where to find flowers and plants for your magic, animal bones, plants, herbs, stones, things, power places, certain trees, certain magical objects. So it's good to try to harvest flowers and plants and wood from your local environment if you're able to. And if you have a connection with the local nature spirits, I think once a week it's good to go leave an offering at the woods, just to the spirits of nature, and begin having a connection like that. And they could help you to find items for your magic. They may help you to gain hidden knowledge. They may help with healing. They can help with all kinds of things, but you have to be very careful. And then also, if you use elemental magic, if you're working with the elements or with nature in magic, if the spirits of nature around you know your name, then when you begin to cast a spell, those powers would be much quicker to help you and lend power to your workings. I made a video about a month ago. I don't remember if it was for Patreon or for here, for general. Half of my videos are for Patreon. But yeah, if you're on my Patreon, you get the other half of my videos. But I forgot where I put it, but I talked about how having a connection with the spirits of nature, having a connection with your ancestors and your dead, all of this helps to empower your workings. When you're doing your spell, your dead are around you. The forces of nature are there more quick to be at your call in time of need if you already have connections with these forces. Plus, we have the attuning with nature. So I highly recommend people, whatever your spiritual tradition or no spiritual tradition, I highly recommend that people go research about nymphs, about the satyrs, about these nature beings from Greek mythology. It's all very fascinating. And I'm pretty excited about some material that I'm about to have coming out. These videos are about to get pretty interesting. You know, I said it was a couple months ago that I had a feeling that some of my best content was getting ready to come out. And here I am. I'm doing all these videos, and we're going to keep going. And I really appreciate all of you that watch my content. It really means a lot. And for the people on my Patreon, it means a lot. And, yep, I mean, so that's it for today. You know, how did people work with them? Very carefully, because these are powerful beings not to be toyed with. But things like milk and honey mixed together, cream, bread, barley, things like this, oil, things like this could be offered, or even just incense, right? Things like this could be offered to the nature spirits. And again, we have Hamadryads. You may have a relationship with the spirit associated with the particular tree. So this is very deep, a lot of really interesting stuff to get into. And for those of you that engage in astral projection, you have to be careful doing it, but exploring the world of the elements and the world of the elemental kingdoms can be very useful for those of you that work with astral projection. And, you know, in the grimoires, I'm not very familiar with it, but there are some texts in the grimoires for working with fairy queens and stuff like that. I would be very careful, but anyways, that's just a quick video for y'all today. I really just wanted to make a video to talk about the nymphs and the satyrs and these divinities of nature, the forces of nature found in Greek mythology. If you enjoyed this video, please show your support for my channel by giving a like and comment and share. If you're on YouTube, hit the bell icon and subscribe. It really means a lot. It's a way to show your support, and I really do appreciate it. Once again, these different types of nymphs, which are female spirits, we have Naiads associated with fountains, wells, springs, streams, brooks, fresh water. Also the water coming from under the earth that nourishes the plants. We have plants that we have Daphne nymphs of laurel trees. We have the Pleiades, the 7 sister nymphs that are companions of the goddess Artemis and became a cluster of stars, the Pleiades, which are associated with rain. We have Arai, from the Greek aura, breeze, that are associated with breezes, and in particular the north wind. We have Hyades, associated with rain. Oreads, mountain nymphs. Epimelides, nymphs of apples and other fruit-bearing trees that help the fruit to grow. These are spirits that help to grow, nurture, and protect the natural environment. Dryads, yeah, you have all these different types of beings. It's actually very interesting. And nature spirits and nature beings, it's a very ancient concept, and it's found in cultures from around the world. In Greece, today we're talking about nymphs and things like that. And then if you go to Japan and Shinto, if you go to Chinese culture, you go to Europe, you go to Africa, you go to the Middle East, you go to the Americas, anywhere you go in the world, and you look at these folk traditions and things like that, and these older traditions, you see a lot of veneration for the I almost said ancestors, for the spirits of nature. So that is my video on the nymphs, and I plan to go a lot deeper into that. So thank you very much. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, share, comment, and give me a like. And thank you so much, and I will see y'all in the next video. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you so much.